Hi Aquarians, and welcome to your April forecast. I think I'll have to do a little bit of a touch-up mid-month just to see how things are going, given that we are living in unprecedented world situation. This dude wants to come out. Oh my god, I am not afraid for us. We got the sun. I just don't know where to start. It cannot be more positive. So transparency is going to help. Sun is also the best disinfectant, right? And also sun is revealing any mistruths, anything hidden. This is pretty much that kind of like enters, and everything else needs to dissolve one way or another. So this is really important. Getting this card, besides warming my heart, it's really something that we can look forward to. So in the situation that we all had as not a society, as a global basically civilization, is not something that we had before. So I think we are going to need to emerge as leaders in this particular thing. I'm going to talk more about it when I lay the other cards. So bottom of the deck we have Five of Sea, and Five of Sea, look at this, the kitty is all freaking wet. It's more or less the embarrassment than anything else, and I really wish this kind of like zooms into the card. You can see there's like some mini pool with a goldfish, and it looks like the kitty wanted to get something and it really didn't get. Now let's look at the rest over here. How many of us would want to change basically spaces with this kitty? Nice beautiful Greek island over here. You can dip your little paws in this beautiful water and appreciate all these waves and this like beautiful kind of like wind blowing like on your face while you're sitting somewhere and enjoying this. But a kitty is just stuck in their own mind. They're like stuck in this moment. Nothing else matters. Doesn't matter who you know, where you're from. It just matters that, hey, I just did not succeed. So this is really telling me, when I kind of like take the two of them together, that there is something that for some of us was a burden. That for some of us we were maybe stuck on something that was just almost like hard to move on. Maybe some kind of negativity, maybe some kind of injustice, maybe something that is really deeply emotional, where maybe nobody really wants to hear, or you don't feel heard, right? So this is like something that is coming through. It was something about feeling that lack of winning that we have. And let's see which one is the first major. Strength. It's really telling us that, look at this, negative and moving forward and waiting and again being let down. It sounds like there were lots of little small chain events that were kind of resulting in inability to feel confident in moving forward. And this is the card of the ultimate confidence. So let's see what else I have here. So this is crossed with the Fool. Oh my freaking god, right? So let's start talking about the sun that just flew out, and the sun said, I need to talk to Aquarians. We need to see where this is going and where this is heading. So what do we see here? We see the circle of friends over here on the bottom. Who is in and who is out? That literally can mean, families are staying together, and whoever, this can talk about the social distancing or physical distancing. You can actually translate it this way. This can actually say that you're going to be okay by following these rules. It's really, really important to do that. We have a few sun motives over here. We have the sun goddess, we have the sun here, then we have the sun here, and then we have the sun here. So it's kind of like everywhere, right? Now, there are some people outside who might be very flirty with us, as you can see over here. But it looks like we are not paying attention. We totally know who is there, who is not there, who has deserved to be in a really, really small circle of us, and who isn't. And there are like some other people who really want to come in, but look at this. There is like a looming mountain behind there. We do know that with entry of the new people, and this is like where people really go wrong with us Aquarians, isn't it? We are the most friendliest sign of all. Yeah, we can be very friendly, but we can be like showing our teeth and leave me alone, stay away from me, and lock ourselves for a long, long time. Have you been there? If you have been, I want to hear from you, because that's clearly sometimes like the mode I am. Like I go from high extrovert to introvert, where only a few chosen are allowed, and they can call, that don't necessarily see me. And of course, this is really difficult in the long term, because we need to kind of preserve our energy. And most people don't know that this friendship that we are ruling really means that if somebody calls upon us, if somebody needs us, we will be there. We will loyally be there for them. Sure enough, there are Aquarians who do not live up to their potential, and they have lost their way. But one of these signs, actually one of the two signs, Aquarians and Pisces, who can really easily self-correct, is really important to remember that we are one of those two signs, Aquarius and Pisces. So even if you're dealing with Aquarius, if you're a cross-watcher, for example, and you're wondering, and you're saying, well, none of that really describes my dude or my girl, you need to understand that they just took the wrong turn, and they're all freaking panicky. They are just trying to make the situation work. Aquarius is a fixed sign. Fixed signs are kind of like a structure signs. We build structure, and once when it works for us, we keep doing. So for example, you're a kid and delivering newspapers, earning some money works well. You're making cash money. But some of them are going to understand this is just a process that you need to absorb, not necessarily to absorb that this is what you want to do for life. So some of them are going to just earn pennies and deliver, let's say, coupons and this, but others are going to apply these principles of this exchange and being personable to maybe bigger projects, right? And bigger projects, that's what's going to be the name of a day. We have the cat or the fool over here. And look at this path. We see still the mountain. We still see the sun. It's almost like that this is the scene somewhere here behind this mountain. And it's basically almost like a story that has been told. You have been told a story by somebody really important in your life. Somebody who you quote unquote considered God. That could be your parent or parents. That could be your grandparents. That could be somebody in the church. But there was clearly somebody who has told you a story, almost like in a Willy Wonka movie, little Charlie was told, well, you just wanted more. You're special. You really need to go in this direction. You need to really think about who was this person who kind of installed certain values inside of you, because there was like something you have been told that I feel you felt that you just failed. You feel, my life did not go in that direction. And it's almost like you're feeling that you need to get there, and there is like this chasm in between, right? There is a third major arcana, the Emperor. The Emperor is talking about stability and feeling okay and feeling grounded and feeling that we can render quality advice. And quality advice, this is logical advice. This is not so much nurturing, hey, come here, and that kind of stuff. This is like, because we have here fire, and we again have a fire, and we have the air. That is like really usually go things. I really believe that, this is really talking about people turning to you. And that's what usually happens with fixed signs. When the trouble strikes, we can be really boring, like fixed signs, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, and Aquarians, because when we build our structure, we really keep that structure. It's really hard to dismantle it, but when we dismantle it, when we start to all over again, we again want to build a structure. So maybe you find yourself, if you're starting a new job, or you're starting a new school, or you're starting a new relationship, that you're going back to this old and familiar, right? So this is really important here to also understand that because of the structure, while we can be boring and we can be called names, that we are stubborn, that we are this, we are that, that also is our forte when it comes to things functioning, when it comes to people knowing what they can expect from us and when they can expect from us. So what we are leaving in this past, again, very similar to this reversed Five of Cups, is Two of Pentacles. There is like this balancing act, or maybe you have dealt with somebody who was juggling either people or they had options. Maybe this is really describing us, talking about that we need to take a path, and it's really hard. It's almost like you are standing right on these rails and you're trying to glide through it. You are managing to do it, but the rail is getting wider and wider and wider, and very soon it won't be able to continue doing that. It won't be able to sustain you anymore. So you really need to figure it out how to do it further. And this is our mystery card. And then we have like two of sea. In the sea of panic that we have around the world, and look at these twos. Maybe you already had a partner in mind. Maybe you had two partners in mind. Maybe there was like one that you wonder what to do, another one you didn't. And it's going to be time to choose. It's going to be time to kind of really explore. So just make sure you're safe. It's going to be lots of, I feel, Skype meetings. It's going to be lots of kind of different things. Like, I mean, that's why this air is over here to burst things into flames. The qualities that are generally overlooked in Aquarians are going to really come to the fore. Believe it or not, this is really a good time to do that. But also is going to kind of like force us to date in a completely different, quote-unquote, safe manner. Meaning not jumping in bed with somebody right away, which is sure a curious thing, but this is also something that can be very deadly. So it's going to be really something that is going to change the format of how we are approaching things, meaning we need to kind of like rebuild, and that's why this is the beginning of that rebuilding. That's the Fool kind of saying, hey, take a risk, jump into that, let's see where we go. Ten of Sky. It's going to be one more thing. This is the proverbial Ten of Swords. Look at that poor kitty. He is afraid. He's very afraid. He has lost his eye. His back is against the wall. The thunder is coming. His tail is broken. The water is coming. This is like his last life. He's not on 9, he's on 10. It is over. So something that has been old, some old belief, some old enemies, they need to be dealt with. Certain things need to be put to the rest. Or maybe, in spite of all this optimism, with all these planets really retrograding soon, and please check my astrology for the next 2-3 months that I had. It's going to be linked at the end of this video. Certain things are going to come back, and certain things that we were trying to avoid in these embarrassments and not getting through, even though they're like actually showing promise, something still might come back that's going to tell us, you know, like this also you need to deal with a little bit differently. And there is a good kitty. This is really interesting. This is a karma card, but it came reversed. It said that this is also time where we really need to understand and self-correct and self-direct to be better. That certain things that we approached in the past and how we dealt with certain things are not necessarily doable, and they are not necessarily workable. This can also mean that the old karma is catching up with us. This can also mean that we have something that is really affecting us really emotionally and really deeply. It's also mirroring this card. So let's see also how this relates to our environment. And there is a 9 of Sea. Maybe we are simply dealing with somebody who is, and I apologize for the noise, maybe we are simply dealing with somebody who is self-indulgent. You see, 9 of Sea is a card of a kitty that is like so freaking happy, and there are so many options, it's almost like hard to figure out which one to do. And it is somebody who wants something from us, and generally we are very obliging, right? We generally kind of like come through and kind of like give what other people want us to give. I don't know how much longer I can continue with this freaking noise, because that's taking me off my zone. So just give me a second. Voila, it stopped. So over here it sounds like that you might understand people in a different way. You know, sometimes they say, oh, it's not me, it's not you, it's me, kind of a thing. No, it is them, it is you, it's not me. And this is a time where you're going to really rate people by how selfish they are. And sometimes it's going to be like holding a mirror to yourself. Other times it's going to be, oh my gosh, I have missed that. And sometimes, like in our willingness to kind of get along, in our willingness to really reach out to people, we are now realizing how people will react to us. Maybe we need something. Maybe we are asking for some minuscule small help which is not arriving. So it's going to be really interesting, and maybe this is why it's going to feel, oh my god, how did I miss this before? There were signs. Well, don't beat yourself over that. This is one of Aquarian's problems, because what's gone is gone. It's something that is really opening our eyes. Remember, the sun is coming out here and shining. And then we have the Chariot over here. Chariot is really talking about, this is hopes and fears, time to move forward, time to kind of like step on this gas, time to apply to your ideas and go in this direction where you're going. There is a little fear, I guess, because as I said, this is almost like paradigm shift. We are thinking in a different way. We are thinking the things that we never thought possible are now possible. We are thinking that we are really going in this new direction. And it almost like feels like that somebody woke us from the sleep, and we are all of a sudden going where we are applying this dream, where things are possible. It's a really new energizing things. So just keep in mind that you need to think the utmost good for everybody in these new projects, because this is really telling you that some old deeds can catch up with some of us. So this is one of those things. Paid forward, right? Paid forward. It's some sort of like neutralize everything else that we do, and nobody's really perfect. And lastly, get rest. Get rest. Lavender is going to be a good disinfectant over here as well. Lavender is also a really high vibration. It's extremely important when we get this card. It also means that we give our thanks. We give our thanks to be who we are and what we are, and that we are resourceful, and that we are self-sufficient, which are the things that I believe usually come in question, especially when we are not moving forward, right? Where that can jeopardize the entire sense of well-being, and it can cause depressions, and it can kind of like cause this like downward spiral. So you really need to kind of like allow yourself to take a break, whatever you need to. So it's going to be a really interesting month. It's going to be kind of like a month where there are going to be lots of things happening. People will be forthcoming. There might be somebody coming our way, maybe an air sign, maybe fire sign. Over here, be careful if the water sign comes through. They might not be as positive or as good for us, or they might just really push these buttons where we need to immediately compensate for whatever the negativity or the misdeeds we had in the past. And the mystery card is soulmate. Well, isn't that interesting that we have it not once but twice? And this is a really interesting card, and it could also tell a sub-story over here. This card is really talking about talk to the hand kind of a thing, but the story is about a boy who wants to dump a girl, and usually he knows the story. He said, I just have to go through that, I just tell her it's over, and then she's going to cry a little bit, it's over, right? I'm free. But this time, he's telling this to the girl, and the girl is, with the big eyes, telling him, well, I don't believe you. I know that you love me. I know this connection. I know that we are meant for each other. And you are just afraid. And it is your fear talking. It is your fear that is like stopping you from moving forward. And this person, whether this is you or somebody else, is suddenly realizing, oh my God, this is true. I have been running away whenever I'm noticing that something can be imposing on my sense of, you know, individuality, because I can see here there is like a big struggle between being in a relationship and being alone. I can see the duality. We see the duality here as well. It was something that has been going on for quite a while. So now, are you going to be brave, or are you going to be, you know what they call it, Mr. Chicken Shit, chicken poop, right? So among all of this, if something happens, if you're going in a new relationship, it's going to be on our terms. It's going to be by speaking our own truths and actually choosing love. It is time, and this is the healer. We see that in this card, the sun, that healing is coming through, that feeling grounded, that feeling supported. And this is like really difficult for Aquarians to actually receive, because being so self-sufficient and independent people just perceive you as strong, but even strong people need a soft place to fall. So I would say expect the unexpected. It's going to be about new truths. It's going to be about being authentic, and it's going to be ultimately about us, us being us, and us moving forward. So yes, step on the gas. No more fears. Even if something bad comes during this path, you need to just understand that you can handle it. You are now on a different plane. You are now working in a different direction, so things are no longer going to create obstacles. So my dear Aquarians, I hope this was helpful. You can find more information about me and my reading services at cattarot.ca. My reading services are open. I consider it essential service, especially in these times of needs. But I also would like to see how much you really resonate with the fact that, you know, like we sometimes really need to isolate and look at it. This really showed up again. And sometimes we really be and kind of have our own path and go in that direction, while letting people in, it can be very, very difficult. So until the next time, you know that I love you, and have a wonderful April.